If you are new on GLP-1's and the scale isn't moving, hang tight. Let's talk for a minute. I'm Melissa. If you haven't watched any of my other videos before, I've been on a weight loss journey since February 2024, and I've lost 101 pounds so far. So I want to talk for a few minutes on why the scale may not be moving and you just starting a GLP-1. First off, you have to remember we can't compare our journeys with other people and the people that we're seeing online. There's a lot of history that goes into every single person's journey, an up and a down and, a roadblock in between. And if you've watched any of my videos, you will know I had several 3-month plateaus where I didn't lose anything. But when you start a GLP-1, you're thinking that you should be losing something, right? And you shouldn't be questioning, is this working? But it's true. It happens, and it's normal to think that way. So when you're going into a GLP-1, the first several weeks are really the medication just entering your body and trying to figure out, it's almost like a little investigative guy in your body that is looking at everything that it needs to repair. Some people are super responders. They are right off the bat start feeling suppression and quieted food noise, and they lose weight immediately in the first week or two. And some people don't. And some people gain, and then they're like, well, why am I even bothering? It's normal to feel that way. I promise. I've been there. But I want you to know that just because the scale isn't moving doesn't mean that things aren't working in the background and that things will be happening soon. Doesn't mean that you're a failure. It doesn't mean that this isn't working for you. One thing that's really hard, I feel like, in our journey is to be patient. And as I've said in several of my videos before, we are used to very fast responses on everything we do in life anymore. Mobile ordering, text messages, emails. Everything is very quick and rapid. Weight loss is not. And it's frustrating. When the medication is going into your body the first couple of weeks, you may even just not realize that the medication is working in a different way. A drink may taste different to you. Something may taste saltier to you. Something may taste too sweet for you. That's the medication working. It takes time to fully saturate inside your body and start to work. And something that we have to remember is that our body doesn't like change. We are fighting biology, and that's hard. Our body is used to a certain set point, enough point, from, I'm quoting like the Enough book that Oprah Winfrey and Dr. Anna did. Our body likes to stay at a certain weight or set point. You try to change it, it does not like to lose the weight, and it's going to hold on for dear life because it's afraid of what's happening. It doesn't know that what you're doing is right and that you've got to get this weight off. It doesn't know any of that. So your body's going to fight you. And some bodies end up giving in a little earlier than other bodies do. Some other people, it takes a little bit more time. But you have to remember that this is our body that is fighting against us. It's not anything wrong with our head, our mental space. It's not anything to do with our mindset. I'm gonna take a drink because I'm really thirsty. There's a lot of negative self-talk if you don't see the results on the scale or immediate results. And that's a normal feeling to have. I feel like that's pretty human to feel that way. But you can't, as hard as it is, you cannot let the negative self-talk in and get to you. The thing to remember is your body has to adjust. And some people, a friend, Callie, that I know, had that trouble when she first started. Her first month and a half, she would send me messages and she's like, Melissa, I don't think this is working. What am I doing? Is this really worth it? Because this is a lot of money. And I feel like I'm not seeing any results. And that's common to feel that way. You also look at other people's journeys. As hard as it is, you can't compare. Because our bodies have their own mind of what they're doing and what speed they're going to do it. However, sometimes you have to ask yourself, okay, has anything else changed since I started this GLP-1? Am I craving more vegetables? Am I craving more fruits? Are things not tasting the same to me anymore? Do I feel a little bit easier getting up out of a chair or bending over to pick up something? These things are our non-scale victories. And as hard as it is to acknowledge those, we have to sometimes take a step back and kind of analyze everything that's been happening that week or since you started. If you're not seeing the progress on the scale, it is still working. It could be working on your blood pressure. It could be working on your cholesterol. It could be working on your blood sugar if you have diabetes. It could be working on the inflammation in your body. It is working even though you're not seeing a physical result. And when I say physical result, I'm talking about a number on a scale. And that is the way that we've always measured success, correct? Yes. That is not the only way that we measure in the GLP-1 community. We have to look at everything. Like I said, taste, your clothing fits different, you're easier to get up out of bed, you're walking a little bit more, your joints don't hurt as bad, you feel better. So just because you're not seeing the number drop on the scale when you first start your GLP-1 doesn't mean it's not working. I promise if you give it time, you'll see the results. But that's something that you have to be patient about, and that is hard and difficult. And in those times, you have to remind yourself why you are getting healthy for yourself and all the things that you're excited about. And I understand sometimes you don't want to get that hopeful and get your hopes up. And I understand that too. But this isn't something in our mind that we're fighting. It is our body. And I think that's the hardest thing to remember, is that it's our body fighting against us. So the thing to remember is take the shot each week, like clockwork, take it. Set a small goal for yourself. If, like, I have trouble with hydration, and I just talked to someone today that just started their GLP-1, that's why it prompted me to make this video, and they're not seeing results on the scale and they're 2 weeks in. And they even gained. Not much, but they gained. But they mentioned that their drink tastes different. That the flavors were different. My friend Callie mentioned she craved vegetables more. She was starting to want the healthier things. Things won't be as appetizing anymore. You just have to give it time. So the person I talked to this morning was also struggling with hydration. And I said, okay, put everything else aside. Let's not think about the scale. Let's not think about the mountain of weight that someone has to lose, okay? We need to break it down into small goals that are reachable and attainable, and don't feel like we're climbing up a never-ending hill. So The goal I set with this person today was 2 things. 1, take your shot. Easy peasy. 2, hydrate. Those 2 things. So if you're in the same boat as this person, set a small, realistic goal for yourself. You should have at least 2. 1 is taking your shot. You take your shot, it's going to start doing the work for you. You just have to believe in the process and keep going to take your shot. The other goal, make it something small. If you're struggling with water, drink water. If you're trying to cut back on regular soda, say, I'm going to have 1 less soda each day. Make it small, keep it simple and attainable. Same thing with your weight loss goals. Do I have an end goal? Kind of. But what I've always done, instead of looking at the big picture and feeling like I'm never going to get there, is I would set 5-pound goals or 10-pound goals. When I was in the 250s, my goal was just to get out of the damn 250s because my gosh, I was in the 250s for 3 months and it was ridiculous. That was my goal. Just get out of the 250s and get to the 240s. And that was cool with me. It wasn't an obsession, or it wasn't something I was worried about or fretting over every time I looked at the scale anymore. It was something small. I'm like, my next goal is just to get to that 240s. I wasn't thinking about the big number. Try switching your mindset, even though it's really hard to do, to focus on small little things that you can change now that will add up, and see how your mind does with that. See if things start progressing. Like I said, you have to give it time, and time is not something that any of us like, but it's important. And it's important to remember that you're doing this for yourself because you deserve to be healthy. You deserve to be free from food. You deserve to have a life where you can go sit in a regular chair in a restaurant and not have to worry if they're going to stick you in a booth. You deserve to not have to worry about a seatbelt extender and be embarrassed on an airplane. You deserve to be healthy, and you're going to be healthy. Just keep remembering to take your shot. I hope these tips helped. If you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and I'll respond to them. And just don't forget, take care of yourself because you're worth it. See you guys.